Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and American Carnage, issue number 6. Very awesome issue. Definitely going to trigger a bunch of people, but if you're smart, or at least if you stick around to close to the end of this review, I'll tell you why you don't have to be so butthurt. Anyway, let's get into this. This issue is called Faith. Oh my God! And the writer is Brian Hill. He's responsible for the story. The art is Leandro Fernandez. Color, Dean White. Letters, Pat Brousseau. And the cover is done by Ben Oliver. So Morgan Wynn seems to have a whole lot more faith and trust in Richard at this point than he did in the previous issue. Like, it was supposed to take a while before he earned his trust for reals. But no, now he trusts him like you wouldn't believe. Why? He says at one point, I know you better than you know yourself. That's right, I know you better than you think. Trust me on that one. That's a fact. Wow. Now, of course, the rest of us are sitting here thinking, oh, if only you knew. He's an FBI agent. He's going to bust your butt, dude. Then you get towards the end of the book, you're like, oh. Then you get a little further, like, oh. And then you get a little further still, oh. You get to the very end, you're like, God damn, just fell out my seat. Like, what the hell? Holy crap. Every single issue I get to, I'm like, oh, it can't get any worse for Richard. And then this team, they just get together and it's like, enjoy the bitch slap. Because, yeah, that's exactly how I feel like every single time. It's just, here's a jack slap to remind you who's really in charge of this book. Damn, Richard is like the most abused character in modern day comics right now. Fight me. What's even cooler, later on, Jennifer, after she has a really interesting conversation with her slave, her maid, yeah, really read into that one. She goes and has herself a little conversation with Richard. Now, some things happen. Richard gets to lie with 2 women, not at the same time. That's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, like, as opposed to disappointing one woman in bed, does he really need to have 2 disappointed women in bed? I mean, come on. Like, let's be realistic, dude. Even blue pilling it, this guy, his life is crap right now. There's no way he's going to be able to satisfy anybody. So, no, we good. What is interesting is that he does, however, sleep with one of these 2 women. And it's interesting to know what she knows, though she slept with him. That was pretty impressive. Yeah. Getting even further, we for one thing, get to see Jennifer's booty. I'm just saying. Normally, I would put this kind of a video up on Pornhub because, but what do you call it? There are only certain titles like Zombie Tramp that I'll put up on Pornhub. Oh, yeah, reminder, Professor Bill's got some Professor Bill's on Pornhub, basically. Just do your fat bitch before you check out my videos, please. Thank you. What does happen here, though, is a very interesting scene. This is towards the end of the comic book. I'm going to show you this image. Hopefully it doesn't break your heart. It's not a spoiler, per se. Rather, it's for an explanation. Okay, here it goes. That not quite a tramp stamp. It's a little bit too high for that. But, yeah, she has a tat. I saw that tat, and I know the 2 meanings for this tattoo. The original meaning comes from John Dee. He is an alchemist, thaumaturgist, scientist, mathematician, an absolute polymath from back in the day. John Dee is his name, John Dee. Look him up. He's a very interesting character. Real person, real human being. Facts. He discovered this language called Enochian by scrying on a trapezoid, of all things, not a sphere, not a crystal ball. And he developed, essentially, scried this language called Enochian. This is the language of angels, as it's put. This symbol in Enochian is a sigil of protection. Later on, it was kind of usurped by, or appropriated by the Luciferians, I guess you say. This is like a symbol of Lucifer for more of the Church of the Church of Set as opposed to the Church of Satan. So rather than Orthodox LaVeyan philosophy, we rather go to Dr. Michael Anthony Aquinos and his Church of Set. Very, very freaky, interesting character. Totally awesome, nonetheless. What do you call it? We have that symbol on the back. Basically, it is an out, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people who are going to be really butthurt by what is said in the beginning of this comic book. You know, like, oh, they're attributing racism to Christianity. You can attribute racism to any and all religions. All religions. I can show you the way. However, this is an out, because it shows that Jennifer is more along the lines of, not paganism, but, you know, maybe in some regards, but this symbol isn't in paganism. It's more of a thaumaturgical symbol, whichever way you cook it. And it shows that, plus she also used the tarot in this deck. I doubt it's a Llewellyn's deck, but it didn't look like a Thoth deck to me. Well, it's hard to tell. Anyway, I found it interesting that she has this symbol, and she professes that she's not necessarily a Christian. That's cool. Her explanation for it is very cool. Is fun. It's a brush off. But I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are just going to be like, what is this symbol? What does this mean? So now you know. But my biggest thing with it is an out. It is, so anybody who's all butthurt over the idea of, you know, that maybe, just maybe Brian Edward Hill is trying to attribute racism with Christianity. No, he's not. And this is the symbology that he's using to show that he's not. This is... basically, it's the doorway to go through to not be in this little bubble of guilt, any form of guilt, you know, for whatever. Most people don't understand their own religions, least off other religions. I don't see religion as being anything particularly great. I don't see it as anything particularly harmful. I see people who don't think for themselves as being harmful. So therefore, if somebody says in this religion, and literally insert whatever religion you want in that context, in that sentence, if they say this religion practices that slavery is a good thing, or that, you know, anti-Semitism is a good thing, or killing all the other religions is a good thing, or killing infidels, whatever. Yeah, that's kind of on the person speaking as opposed to the book itself. I've never once seen a religious text that says, go and kill these people. I've only seen interpretations of that, usually through translations. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. That was my favorite part of this entire book. Couldn't really find a part that I didn't like. That's rare, but is what it is. Anyway, guys, really good book. It gets deeper, and once again, how could Richard sink any deeper? And when he does, how the hell is he going to get out of this? This poor guy. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.